Hi everyone, my name is Tyler Lessard. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at TechnologyAdvice.
Tyler, who are you? Can you tell us a bit about your journey and what sparked your interest in marketing?
I actually joined the business about 6 months ago after spending 10 years at a SaaS startup called Vidyard as the head of marketing. My career actually began as an engineering graduate. I started in software development, but quickly found that I was much better at explaining technology to others than actually coding and building software. So I slowly moved into more and more of a communications, partnership, and product marketing type roles. And here I am today with a huge passion for storytelling, for connecting with audiences, and helping businesses really differentiate themselves in crowded markets.
Can you tell us a bit more about what your company does?
So TechnologyAdvice is a B2B media publisher. We own and operate more than 30 different tech media sites, newsletters, and social media channels like technologyadvice.com, as well as Tech Republic, eWeek, eSecurity Planet, and many other properties that appeal to very specific types of B2B tech audiences. And as our business, we work with B2B tech providers to help connect them with those audiences of in-market researchers and buyers. And we do that through digital advertising and through integrated demand gen programs, where we help get their content, their message, their ideas in front of the right people at the right time. So it's a lot of fun for me being, of course, a marketing leader, someone with a huge passion for demand gen, to be able to market to and partner with those demand gen leaders out there in the market.
And as a CMO in your company, Tyler, what is currently your main marketing focus?
It's a little bit of everything these days, especially with being about 6 months into the business. But there are a couple things that are really standing out as big priorities for myself and I think our business overall. First and foremost is building our unique brand within our community. And I emphasize the word unique because we do have a good, well-known brand within our audience, but we're in a very crowded space where differentiating from many of the other vendors has become increasingly difficult in recent years. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that, being in what's becoming crowded markets, lots of new entrants. We're all seeing it as the barriers to entry in lots of different spaces are dropping. And so more and more, we need to be conscious of how we create a unique perspective in the market, how we differentiate from others, and how we create a unique feeling in our audience, in our customers about why they should think about working with us as opposed to others in the space. So that's a big one for us. But I would be remiss not to also say pipeline generation, folks. We all think about it. We all know it. And I'm really focused on not just how do we generate more pipeline, but how do we partner closely with our sales team to find those opportunities, to not only find new leads for them to work, but equally important, collaborating with them on helping them be more successful in their own outbound, generating new opportunities in their current accounts. Those types of things are increasingly important in the market and something that I think a lot about as well.
Can you tell me about a particularly innovative or successful marketing campaign your team has recently executed?
So being relatively new to the business, we're still sort of in flight with, building out some of the big programs we're working on. But one thing that we have done that I have found a lot of success with in my previous roles is launching a fresh new thought leadership brand that's really oriented around helping us build a highly engaged audience of B2B marketing and demand gen professionals who we're trying to cater to, not only today, those who are ready to do business with us, but also building an audience of folks who will follow along with us over time and come to us when they are ready to need to run new demand gen or advertising programs. So we did that by taking a somewhat of a unique approach. I've spent a lot of time in recent years understanding how social media audiences engage with brands, how people are sort of transitioning into the types of content that they really associate with. And we decided to launch a thought leadership brand called the Marketing Insiders at TA. And the idea behind that was to really create a more personal and human-centric social media and thought leadership brand that our audience could attach themselves to. So rather than, trying to publish brand-centric content on our social channels, our blog, our research that are coming from, say, TechnologyAdvice, we're taking a very person-centric approach and introducing the market to, hey, these are the marketing insiders at TechnologyAdvice. It's myself, it's 7 or 8 other people on our team who are all bringing insights to the community, who are working on our research reports, who are creating video content for our audience. And so by creating that sort of horizontal thought leadership brand, it now gives us a platform for a new newsletter, for new podcasts, for new social channels, where we can create that audience who are, again, connecting with the real people here at TechnologyAdvice and not just following a brand. Because more and more, I think that's important for all of us to be thinking about. How are we creating those more human connections? Because again, more and more the market is moving that way, and people want to connect with the real people, with quote unquote influencers, both inside and outside of your company, more so than they want to connect themselves to corporate brands.
What would you say at the moment is your biggest marketing challenge?
Our biggest marketing challenge right now is standing out in a sea of more and more competitive companies in our space. And as part of standing out, it's not only, speaking a little bit louder, being a little bit different, finding new ways to get our voice heard. It's not just about brand awareness. It's about how we create unique brand affinity and create ongoing brand engagement with our community in a way that helps them understand how we're different from all the other folks in our space that they could be considering doing business with. And it's a big challenge today where there's an increasing volume of competition, where more and more, people are offering the same features, right? I know lots of folks at B2B tech companies, software companies, and particularly with the rise of AI and more automation, the feature differentiation is becoming really difficult for companies. Your competitors can quickly catch up with new capabilities, new plugins, new partnerships faster than they ever could before. And so more and more we need to think about, how do we create that unique brand affinity with our audience? How do we connect with them as real people and make it clear that not only do we have the best products and services in the market, but we also have the strongest and most reputable customer service program. We care about our customers. We're in it for your success, not just for ours. Those are the kinds of things that we're thinking a lot about, and how do we make sure we build that brand in the market to clearly and uniquely position ourselves with our buyers.
What do you believe is the biggest opportunity for CMOs today that might not have been available in the past?
I think one of the big changes that's happened with respect to the buying audiences, which is always how I tend to think about the life of a CMO. It's less about what do we need to do, or think about and more how are our buyers changing and how do we align with that. And I think what we've seen over the last 10, 5, even 2 to 3 years is a rapidly changing set of preferences, expectations, and behaviors of tech buyers. And I think the biggest part of that is we've all seen the stats, right? 80, 90% of the buying journey happens self-service online before they ever reach out to, their short list of companies. And, in a lot of markets, that's becoming 100% of the buying journey, with more and more companies having, freemium products or free trials or ways to get started without any friction at all. And I think we need to really embrace that as CMOs, no matter what industry you're in. Whether you offer a free product or your starting point is $1 million, doesn't matter. More and more, your buyers are actively researching on their own time. They're researching on third-party properties. They're following and being influenced by influencers, podcasts, YouTube channels, more and more types of media. They're, of course, reading product reviews, which are now super transparent in the marketplace and easy to find. They're reading comparisons. They're doing all these things on their own. And as CMOs, we have to think about how do we become a part of that buying journey and not just the one we're trying to create. If we spend all our time thinking about once somebody comes to our website, how do we maximize our conversion rates, we're missing out on a vast part of the community who's never going to come to our website if they haven't found out about us through things like our thought leadership and media programs, perhaps an owned media strategy, as well as how we partner with demand gen providers, with media publishers, with others who are reaching those audiences on a day-to-day basis and providing them with those independent insights that they're leveraging to make their buying decisions.
In your opinion, Tyler, what does the future of marketing look like to you?
Well, it's complicated. I mean, my goodness, the world of marketing has gotten simpler in some ways, but much more complicated in many more. And what I mean by that is going back to the world of how we align with our buyers, right? The way that people are researching, the way that they're buying, the way that they're making decisions keeps changing, and it's changing at a faster pace, every year as we go. In the years to come, we're all thinking about the impacts on things like SEO and inbound strategies with the rise of AI and, AI recommendations. More and more people who are searching for a topic or an idea are simply going to be served information from the Googles and other engines rather than being pushed out to other people's websites. And that's just one small piece of some of these bigger dynamics at play in the market. So not only are some of those things changing from a platform's perspective, but again, also the behaviors of our buyers keep shifting and shifting further away from, I'm going to come to your site, I'm going to request a demo, and I'm going to talk to sales, to this much more self-service, of course, online, hyper-transparent expectations of those audiences to engage with us. So we need to find, the world's changing dramatically. The channels that we use to reach people are continuing to evolve. The ways we need to deliver our messages are changing significantly. So I think the future of marketing is we need to be ready to be able to service our buyers on the channels they are on, the channels they prefer, in the formats that they prefer, in a much more timely and personalized manner than we ever have before. And that's very, very difficult to do in a scalable way. But it's something we need to think a lot about as marketing teams and leverage the right tools that we can to help us get there.
What would you say is the role of the CMO in one word, and why?
Vision, I think, is the most important. Of course, one of many, but vision is increasingly important as we think about the way that we're going to deliver buyer experiences and customer experiences, and the need to be really in tune with the changing dynamics of the markets, the understanding of the overall marketplace, the competitive landscape, and to really help set a course, not only for the marketing strategy, but for the broader go-to-market, and in many cases, the broader business strategy. And I think that's happening more and more with CMOs. We're becoming more strategic and needing to provide more vision as opposed to tactical and execution, because the way that our buyers and customers are interacting with us is so different these days. They're so digital focused. They are, again, so self-service that marketing needs to play a much bigger role in the company strategy and helping us make sure we're serving our customers from first touch to last upsell in ways that, really stand out in the market and create the best possible relationships. So we need vision at the top of CMOs these days, and a really keen understanding of how we're going to create the best possible buying experiences.
What's a piece of traditional leadership advice that you believe doesn't apply to modern CMOs?
I remember being told multiple times, if you can't measure it, it's not worth doing. And while I do believe that that has some merit and is a good forcing function to make us think about how is it that we're going to measure different programs and understand the success or impact they're having, but I think that also puts us at serious risk of not investing in the types of programs that we understand innately are important to create high resonance with our audience, to create the kinds of relationships that we're looking for. And I think we need to balance it. And I think we need to be mindful about investing in programs where, of course, we can test and measure and iterate and optimize, but not be afraid to invest in programs that maybe we can't measure attribution directly, but that we have good instinctual understanding that this might be really important to help move the market, to create those relationships with our buyers, and to help us start to create greater affinity, because more and more that brand relationship is going to be important when we can't always differentiate on features and functions.
And my last question for you, Tyler, is what career advice would you like to share with other marketing leaders?
Now is the time for marketing leaders to really establish a strategic presence in their organizations. And I'm sure many of you are today, but going back to my one word to describe CMOs today, and I think vision is so critical. And I encourage you to not be shy to be thinking about and providing ideas and really collaborative and constructive strategies, not just in the sphere of marketing, but thinking about how can we really adapt and grow and advance our go-to-market function overall? How can we think about the evolution of our product strategy through the lens of what we know about our buyers and our customers as marketing leaders? And, it's something that I think about all the time. And, I represent myself as an executive of the company, not just a marketing leader, because I think more and more marketers need to have that voice and to be a really integrated part of driving the strategy of that beautiful trifecta of product, sales, and marketing, which in today's world is more important than ever, again, because of the changing expectations of our buyers and customers.